I didn't expect the night to crack open my life the way it did. I was already exhausted. One of those winter evenings in Chicago when the wind slices through your coat and every step feels borrowed from tomorrow's energy. I'd stayed late at the community center fixing a broken heater, hands numb, mind elsewhere, thinking about rent and my mother's voice on the phone that morning telling me to eat better. The elevator was out, so I took the stairs down to the lobby, counting steps like a prayer. That's when I heard her voice, tight, controlled, but trembling underneath. My skirt, it's torn. She stood near the glass doors, tall and composed in a way that spoke of boardrooms and long flights, but the rip at the back of her skirt had stolen the ground from under her. She was trying to shield it with her purse, cheeks flushed, eyes darting as if the building itself had turned judgmental. I recognized her from the plaques in the hallway, CEO of the foundation that funded half the programs in this place. Powerful, untouchable. Except in that moment, she looked like anyone else who'd been caught by life at the wrong angle. I didn't think, I just said what felt honest. I won't look, but I need to touch it. She blinked, startled, then laughed once, a short sound that held relief and disbelief together. That's not something I hear every day. I mean the fabric, I added quickly, raising my hands like a truce. I can help, if you want. For a second, the world narrowed to the hum of the lights and the snow beginning to fall outside. She weighed her options, the doors to her car 10 feet away, the risk of staying another minute. Then she nodded. Okay, please. I turned my back first, as promised, and asked her to stand still. The tear wasn't dramatic, no scandal, no spectacle, just a stubborn split along a seam that had given up under a long day. I kept my eyes on the floor, my hands steady, fingers working with the same respect I used when fixing something fragile. From my pocket, I pulled the small sewing kit I carried, one of those habits you pick up when you don't have money to replace things easily. My mother had taught me to mend, not toss. "You carry a sewing kit?" she asked, incredulous. "I carry a lot of things," I said. "You never know who you'll need to be for someone." The words surprised us both. She went quiet, and I felt the tension ease as the needle slid through the fabric. It took only a few minutes, but in that pocket of time, something shifted. Not romance, not sparks, something quieter and heavier. Trust. When I stepped away and told her it was done, she let out a breath she'd been holding. She turned, smoothing the skirt, testing the seam. "You saved me," she said, and it wasn't dramatic. It was sincere. "Just helped," I replied. She insisted on driving me home. I refused at first, habit again, but the snow was thickening and the buses were already late. In the car, warmth wrapped around us, and the city blurred into white streaks. She introduced herself as Claire, said I could call her that. I told her my name, told her about the heater, about my mom. She listened like every word mattered, not checking her phone, not rushing the silence. At a red light, she glanced over. "Do you know how rare it is for someone to help without wanting anything back?" she said softly. "I don't know any other way," I shrugged. The next morning, my phone buzzed with an email from her assistant asking me to come by the foundation. I almost deleted it, convinced it was a mistake. When I arrived, the lobby was all marble and glass, the kind of place that makes you stand up straighter without realizing it. Claire met me herself, dressed sharply, confidence restored. For a moment, I worried the night before had been filed away as an inconvenience, a private embarrassment. Instead, she smiled. "I wanted to say thank you properly," she said, "and I wanted to ask you something." She showed me a proposal for a new program, micro-grants for families on the edge, practical help without red tape. "We have money," she said, tapping the page. "What we need are people who understand dignity, people who fix heaters and carry sewing kits." I laughed, certain she was flattering me into compliance. "I'm not your guy," I said. "I'm just human," she finished. "That's the qualification." I didn't take a job that day. I didn't want one.
But I agreed to consult, to walk her through neighborhoods she'd only seen from tinted windows, to introduce her to folks who'd never apply for help because pride was the last thing they owned. We argued sometimes, about metrics, about scale, but we agreed on one thing. Help should feel like help, not charity. Weeks turned into months. The program launched quietly, then spread because it worked. Families stayed warm, kids stayed in school. I stayed busy, still fixing things, still counting steps. Claire stayed busy too, but she changed. She started showing up in places without cameras, listening more than she spoke. People noticed. One evening, long after the snow had melted, we stood outside the community center again. A new plaque gleamed on the wall, but it didn't list donors. It listed names, volunteers, neighbors, people who'd helped each other when it counted. Claire read it with her hands in her pockets. "Do you ever think about that night?" she asked. "All the time," I said, "because of the choice. Because she'd trusted a stranger. Because I'd chosen not to look. Because dignity, once honored, tends to multiply." As she walked to her car, she turned back. "If more people led with that," she said, "the world would feel different." I watched her go, the city alive around me, and felt something settle into place. I didn't become famous. I didn't become rich. But every now and then, when someone says they're torn in a way they can't hide, I know what to do. I won't look, but I'll help mend it.